Well, President Trump touting stocks and jobs at the top of his statement moments ago, and look at this, he's not off at all. Stocks brushing off Charlottesville, brushing off North Korea. All of those concerns worldwide come secondary to the bottom line, and the bottom line is pretty good according to investors. To Forbes publisher Rich Karlgaard and Smart Trade co-founder Dr. Barton. Good to see you both. Rich, first of all, to what do you accredit this market rise today? I mean, I know a lot of people thought perhaps the market was too beaten down before, but why up 147 right now?
Well, you know, you look at the most recent GDP report, 2.6% growth. In the old days, that wasn't much. But off of the last 8 years, it's good momentum. We get tax reform. I think it goes up over 3, the holy grail. And the markets are excited about that.
So I am assuming, DR, that from what Rich just said, that he doesn't think tax cuts have been factored into this market. Do you agree?
Well, I think they have already taken that in from November to now and the huge run-up we've had. But Rich was right. That's still out there. What we're seeing the markets tell us loudly and clearly is those tax cuts are still first and foremost in investors' and traders' minds. And that's what's driving this market up. Over the weekend, we got the CIA that said that nuclear threat from Korea was not imminent. And immediately what we see is the markets going back to business as usual, which is optimism about a growth path that Rich gave us.
But you know, Rich, it's not just Wall Street that's happy about this. The Wall Street Journal had a terrific piece today about folks who have been unemployed for years, the permanently unemployed, they're called. There was this one focus on a guy who'd been unemployed since 2008, and finally he's employed again. I mean, people who were kind of just had adjusted their own lives to the fact that they never work again are getting back into the workforce. That's not Wall Street, that's Main Street.
Yeah, and I think you've seen that the first consequences that Trump has had on this economy have applied right there, because the regulatory reform that's going on, i.e. rolling back of the Obama regulatory state, is attributable to, you know, it has caused that jump from sub 2% growth to 2.5, 2.6%. You combine that with taxes, you get over 3. The consequence on the job creation market is going to be even greater.
But, DR, you know, in the previous administration, I don't mean to just pick on the Obama administration, but in those times you would see the markets rise despite what the economy. Sometimes the economy had terrible numbers, whether it was jobs numbers or GDP or whatever, and the market would jump like crazy because they were so focused on the Fed. Now the market seems to be focused on bottom line accounts, on how much people are making, on how many people are going back into the job force. I mean, that's a very positive sign, is it not?
Oh, it is a very positive sign. I think, David, you're exactly right. When you add $3.7 trillion to the punch bowl, you can throw a pretty big party, and that's what we kept seeing over and over again. And now, every time that something happens, we know we're not focused on the Fed, because what's happening is that when something comes out that's good news, the market goes up. When we're focused on the Fed and worried about if they're going to tighten, good news like the recent employment report last week would have knocked the markets down, and that's just not happening.
I agree. And Rich, one of the reasons why I'm so hopeful that beyond a cut in the corporate tax, we also get a cut in the individual tax, because everybody needs to feel this. I mean, if the tax break that comes out of Congress just focuses on corporation, doesn't focus on cutting everybody's tax load, I think that's a problem, don't you?
Well, sure. I think we need greater prosperity, and the prosperity has to be more broadly shared than it's been shared. Because we've had great prosperity if you live in New York City or Silicon Valley, where I live, but you look at the political division that disparity has caused, and the greatest cure to that political rancor that is out there would be broadly shared prosperity.
We got to leave it at that. Rich Karlgaard, my friend, my Forbes on Fox friend. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Dr. Barton, great to see you as well. I appreciate it.